Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So it's a concise and thoughtful walkthrough of human reproduction. It is designed to give you complete clarity in just under 15 minutes, but use it for revision purpose. Remember, if you're searching for a detailed diagram explanation, then I will not be discussing it in this particular video. If you want to check it out, link is in the description. So settle in and let's begin. सबसे पहले let's understand what reproduction is. So reproduction is the process that ensures the continuity of generation by producing offspring. Simple words में ये लाइफ का एक एसेंशियल प्रोसेस है जो स्पीसीज को एग्जिस्ट करने में हेल्प करता है. अगर हम इवेंट्स की बात करें, ह्यूमन रिप्रोडक्शन एक सिस्टमिक प्रोसेस है जिसमें कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेजेस होते हैं. सबसे पहले इट इज़ गैमेटोजेनेसिस विच इज़ फॉर्मेशन ऑफ गैमेट्स. इन मेल इट इज़ स्पर्म and in female it's ovum. In insemination, there is transfer of sperms into the female body, and then fertilization happens, which is fusion of sperm and ovum to form a zygote. And the attachment of zygote to the uterine wall is implantation. Gestation period mein there is development of the baby inside the uterus, and finally there is parturition, which is the process of childbirth or delivery of the baby. Male और female reproductive organs together काम करते हैं to produce a healthy offspring. अगर हम प्राइमरी सेक्स ऑर्गन्स को समझते हैं, उसका मेन फंक्शन होता है गैमेट्स और हार्मोन का प्रोडक्शन, और सेकेंडरी सेक्स ऑर्गन्स मेनली गैमेट्स का पैसेज और ट्रांसपोर्ट में हेल्प करता है. लेट्स डिस्कस अबाउट द मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम विच इज़ लोकेटेड इन द पेल्विस रीजन. द प्राइमरी सेक्स ऑर्गन इज टेस्टिस. If we discuss about the accessory ducts, it's rete testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, and urethra. The accessory glands are seminal vesicle, prostate gland, corpus gland, or bulbourethral gland. The external genitalia is penis. Now let's move ahead and understand more about testes. Testes are the primary sex organs in males and are present as a pair. They are located outside the abdominal cavity in a pouch called the scrotum. This positioning is very important because spermatogenesis requires a temperature about 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius lower than the body temperature. इसलिए टेस्टिस बाहर लोकेटेड होते हैं. ईच टेस्टिस इज रफली अराउंड 4 to 5 सेंटीमीटर लॉन्ग एंड 2 to 3 सेंटीमीटर वाइड. अगर हम इंटरनल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ टेस्टिस को समझे, ईच टेस्टिस हैज अराउंड 250 कंपार्टमेंट्स known as testicular lobules. Every lobule contain 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules. These seminiferous tubules are internally lined by two types of cell, Sertoli cells or nurse cells, and spermatogonia, which divides to ultimately give rise to sperms. The space outside the tubule is called interstitial space, which contains blood vessels, nerves, Leydig cell, and other immunocompetent cells. Sertoli cells play a very crucial role in sperm development, and they provide nourishment to developing sperms, perform phagocytosis of dead or abnormal sperms, secrete sperm maturation factors, and release ABP, which is androgen binding protein, which binds to testosterone and helps maintain its high concentration inside the testes. The pathway of sperm movement is very important to remember. It starts from seminiferous tubule, which is highly coiled, and where sperm is formed, it moves towards retotestis and then to vasa efferentia, which is 10 to 12 in number, and then to epididymis, which is the structure present along posterior surface of each testis, and then it goes to vas deferens, which loops over urinary bladder, and it receives a duct from seminal vesicle and form a ejaculatory duct, and then it finally comes out through urethra. This is the exact route followed by sperms before ejaculation. And then accessory glands contributes fluid that forms seminal plasma. Remember, semen is sperm plus seminal plasma. Seminal plasma is alkaline, and there are three main accessory glands. So the first is seminal vesicle, which is paired gland, which is located behind the urinary bladder and contribute about 60 to 70% of seminal fluid. Second is prostate gland, which is single gland located below the urinary bladder, and it's 20 to 25%. Then comes the bulbourethral gland or corpus gland, which is paired, located on the sides of urethra and contribute about 5 to 10% of seminal fluid. The external genitalia in males include penis and scrotum. These structures play an important role in insemination and temperature regulation. Now let's understand the female reproductive system. The ovary is the primary sex organ in females. Its main function are oogenesis, which is formation of ova, and secretion of female hormones like estrogen and progesterone. Each ovary is about 2 to 4 centimeter in length. The ovary is attached to the uterus by the ovarian ligament and to the pelvic wall by the suspensory ligament. The ovary consists of a tissue called stroma, which is the space within the ovary. It is divided into outer cortex and inner medulla. These regions support the development of ovarian follicles. The female reproductive system includes accessory ducts. These provide a passage for ova and include fallopian tube, uterus, cervix, and vagina. Each oviduct has three parts: infundibulum, which is funnel-shaped part that receives the ovum, and then ampulla, which is site of fertilization, and isthmus, which is a narrow last part. The uterus is the site of implantation and development of the fetus. The uterine wall has three layers: perimetrium, which is an outer protective layer; myometrium, which is a muscular layer important during childbirth; and endometrium, which is the inner layer where implantation occurs. The birth canal is formed by cervical canal along with vagina. ये पैसेज चाइल्ड बर्थ के टाइम बेबी को एग्जिट के लिए यूज होता है. द फीमेल एक्सटर्नल जेनिटेलिया इंक्लूड्स मॉन्स प्यूबिस, लेविया मेजोरा, लाइबिया माइनोरा, हाइमेन एंड क्लिटोरिस. ये स्ट्रक्चर प्रोटेक्शन और सेक्सुअल फंक्शन में हेल्प करते हैं. अगर हम एक्सेसरी ग्लैंड्स को समझते हैं, देयर आर बैथिलिन ग्लैंड, पैरायूरेथ्रल ग्लैंड एंड मैमरी ग्लैंड. इसमें से मैमरी ग्लैंड्स रिप्रोडक्शन का एक इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट है. A functional mammary gland is characteristic of all female mammals. अगर हम pathway of milk ejection समझे तो mammary gland, जैसे commonly breast भी कहा जाता है, contains glandular tissue and various amount of fat. Mammary gland का glandular tissue contains 15 to 20 mammary lobes, and each lobes contain cluster of cells called alveoli, which secretes milk. The milk is stored in the lumen of alveoli, and the mammary alveoli opens into mammary tubules. Mammary lobes से निकलता हुआ हर एक tubules connects and forms the mammary ducts, which further joins to form mammary ampulla. At last, the milk is sucked out through lactiferous duct. Let's discuss about gametogenesis, which is the process of formation of gametes in humans. This process is essential for sexual reproduction. Gametogenesis is divided into three phases. First is multiplication phase, where rapid mitotic divisions increases the number of germ cells, and in growth phase, cell grows in size and accumulate nutrients. In maturation phase, meiotic division occur to form haploid gametes. अगर हम spermatogenesis की बात करें, it's the process of formation of sperm, and if we understand how spermatogonia give rise to spermatozoa, so spermatogonia goes through mitotic division and forms primary spermatocyte, which is diploid, and by meiosis 1, which is reductional division, secondary spermatocytes are formed, which is haploid, and by meiosis 2, spermatids are formed, which with the help of sperm maturation factor, which is released by Sertoli cells, helps in the formation of spermatozoa. अगर हम spermiogenesis की बात करें, it's the transformation of spermatid into a mature sperm cell or spermatozoa. Spermiation is the release of sperm into seminiferous tubule. A sperm is divided into three parts: head, which contains nucleus and acrosome; middle piece, which is rich in mitochondria, energy production के लिए; and tail, which helps in movement. अगर हम sperm count and fertility की बात करें, in humans a male ejaculates about 200 to 300 million sperm per ejaculation, and for normal fertility, at least 60% sperm should be normal in shape and size, and around 40% sperm should show vigorous motility. Let's understand about the hormonal control of spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis is under hormonal control, where hypothalamus releases GnRH. GnRH stimulates anterior pituitary. Pituitary releases LH and FSH. LH acts on Leydig cells, which secretes testosterone, and FSH acts on Sertoli cells, which help in secretion of sperm maturation factor ABP and inhibin. ये hormones मिलके spermatogenesis को regulate करते हैं. Let's understand about oogenesis. It's the process of formation of female gamete. It is initiated during the embryonic development with million of gamete mother cell called oogonia. FSH causes the development of ovarian follicle. So let's discuss about the development of follicle. In primary follicle, single layer of granulosa cells is present, which secretes estrogen, and here primary oocyte is present. In secondary follicle, a theca layer appears, and if we observe, more granulosa cell could be seen. Here also primary oocyte is present. In tertiary follicle, secondary oocyte could be seen. Here theca externa and theca interna appears. Tertiary follicle further matures into Graafian follicle, where a non-cellular layer called zona pellucida forms, which is made up of Glycoprotein, which is secreted by secondary oocyte itself. Graphian follicle further ruptures to form corpus luteum. LH acts on corpus luteum to secrete hormone called progesterone, estrogen, relaxin, and inhibin. Tertiary follicle shows the presence of fluid-filled cavity called antrum. Let's understand ovulation in more simpler way. It starts during the embryonic life. Couple of million of oogonia are present and no more are added after birth. Then by the process of mitotic division, primary oocytes are formed, which are arrested in prophase of meiosis 1. At puberty, there is completion of meiosis 1 and onset of meiosis 2. A first boiler body is formed which never becomes an egg, and the other one forms the secondary oocyte which get arrested at metaphase of meiosis 2. The secondary oocyte get released from the ovary by the process called ovulation. After the sperm enters and gets in contact with the egg, the division continues further and forms a second polar body, and then the meiosis 2 has ended and a cell is grown completely. Let's discuss about the menstrual cycle. It involves the periodic shedding of the endometrium. ये साइकिल यूजली 28 डेज का होता है एंड द फर्स्ट 5 डेज यूट्रस के एंडोमेट्रियम की लाइनिंग टूटती है विच इज़ नोन एज मेंस्ट्रुएशन. द नेक्स्ट फेज इज प्रोलिफेरेटिव फेज जिसमें एंडोमेट्रियम की लाइनिंग फिर से बनना शुरू होता है. आफ्टर द 14th डे एंडोमेट्रियम की सिक्रीशन बढ़ जाता है विच इज़ नोन एज सिक्रीटरी फेज. मीनवाइल ओवरी में भी चेंजेस आता है ड्यू टू इंक्रीज ऑफ FSH. फॉलिकल स्टार्ट्स ग्रोइंग in the follicular phase, and then in the ovulatory phase ovulation happens and the Graafian follicle ruptures and forms corpus luteum in the luteal phase. ये सारे events hormones के वजह से होते हैं. So let's understand about the hormonal control. So the growing follicles has granulosa cell which secretes estrogen which give positive feedback to the anterior pituitary, जिसके वजह से LH और FSH का level बढ़ता है. Due to LH surge ovulation happens. The Graafian follicle ruptures and forms the corpus luteum. Corpus luteum releases two types of hormone, progesterone or estrogen. The estrogen gives negative feedback to the anterior pituitary, जिसके वजह से LH और FSH का लेवल कम हो जाता है. Ultimately, the corpus luteum degenerates and progesterone और estrogen का level also decreases, because of which the cycle continues once again. अब हम ह्यूमन रिप्रोडक्शन के नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेजेस समझेंगे. फर्टिलाइजेशन, क्लीवेज और जेस्टेशन. ये स्टेजेस मिलके एक सिंगल सेल को फुली डेवलप्ड बेबी बनाते हैं. सबसे पहले फर्टिलाइजेशन. फर्टिलाइजेशन इज द प्रोसेस ऑफ फ्यूजन ऑफ स्पर्म एंड ओवम एंड रिजल्टिंग इन द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ अ डिप्लॉयड जाइगोट. इट अकर्स इन अ सीक्वेंस ऑफ स्टेप्स. सबसे पहले कैपेसिटेशन. इट्स द रिमूवल ऑफ कोलेस्ट्रॉल एंड ग्लाइकोप्रोटीन्स फ्रॉम द सरफेस ऑफ द स्पर्म मेम्ब्रेन एंड एंट्री ऑफ कैल्शियम आयन इनटू स्पर्म फॉर फास्ट मूवमेंट ऑफ टेल. In agglutination, there is recognition of sperm and ovum. Then some acrosomal reaction happens. The plasma membrane of ovum forms the fertilization cone, and fusion of sperm nuclei and ovum nuclei happens to form the diploid zygote. Let's understand about the prevention of polyspermy. Polyspermy यानी multiple sperms entering one ovum, and it is prevented by fast block to polyspermy, which is temporary, and slow block to polyspermy. This two process ensures normal development of the zygote. अगर हम sex determination की बात करें, sex of the baby is determined at fertilization step itself. XX gamete is for female and XY is for male. Y chromosome comes from the sperm, so father determines the sex of the child. Cleavage refers to the rapid mitotic divisions of the zygote without increase in size. These divisions lead to formation of morula, blastula and gastrula. And gestation is the development of the embryo inside the uterus, and it is divided into 3 trimesters. In first trimester and in the first month or 4th week, heart is formed. In the second month or 8 weeks, limbs and digits appear. In third month or 12 weeks, major organs and external genitalia develop. In the second trimester, which is 5th month or 20th week, first fetal movement felt, and there is appearance of hair. And in the 6th month, body covered with fine hair, eyelids get separate and eyelashes are formed. In the 9th month, fetus become fully developed and it is ready for delivery. Parturition is the process of childbirth which is induced by a complex neuroendocrine mechanism. So the fully developed fetus and placenta give signals for parturition, which leads to mild uterine contraction called fetal ejection reflex, which triggers the release of oxytocin from posterior pituitary of mother, which causes strong uterine contraction. The continuous release of oxytocin causes strong contraction, so from which we can understand it's a positive feedback loop, which leads to expulsion of the baby through the birth canal. Note: Pitocin is certified oxytocin given to females to induce labor pain. Lactation: it's the process of formation of milk at the end of pregnancy for bringing up a healthy baby. Prolactin helps in production of milk. Oxytocin causes ejection of milk. And in initial few days of lactation, colostrum is released by the lactating mother. इसके साथ ह्यूमन रिप्रोडक्शन कंप्लीट होता है. होप यू ऑल लाइक इट. डोंट फॉरगेट टू हिट दैट सब्सक्राइब बटन. सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर.